Life was good. This was literally my first trip of the year. I knew something was wrong. I knew that I needed to get off the water. I've been doing this for 3 decades, never backed out of a river trip, and I just had this feeling something's not right. I need to get out of here. I'm not gonna last. My name is Joe Ellis. I'm from Sacramento, California. I had a cardiac arrest while guiding a whitewater rafting trip and was revived with an AED. This is my story. So I got out of high school and I didn't have much to do. I was done playing sports. I wasn't going to do anything else, and a friend of mine invited me on a raft trip, and literally after that day on the river, I knew 100% that this is what I wanted to do. I love the adrenaline. I love the beauty, the nature, being with friends, being with family. I started commercial guiding. I took people down the river, and I found it to be kind of my life's mission to share my passion with people. After my first season as a river guide, I started my college career and then put 2 and 2 together and figured out if I became a teacher, I could teach and coach during the school year and then continue guiding rivers during the summer. It was to be my first day out on the water for the season. Very happy to get out there, gave my family a kiss goodbye. I was pumping up boats, bouncing around, having the time of my life. Halfway through the first part of the day, I started getting kind of a burning sensation across my chest. Pretty soon I got a lump in my throat. I started thinking, this isn't right. This isn't right. We come around the corner, coming into one of the larger rapids of the day. Everything kind of went silent. I knew I had to get through this rapid. It was high water. I had people that I really cared about in the boat. I had small children in the boat. We came through clean. We came through unscathed. Everyone was hooting and hollering, including myself. And then within seconds after coming through that burning sensation came back on, and that lump in my throat got thicker. I knew that I needed to get off the water, and I knew that there was an access point just a little bit downstream. 20 minutes later, we showed up at our last possible place to get out before we dropped into the next canyon. It happened to be a public park, and after I stepped out of my boat, I turned around, put my hand on my buddy's shoulder, and the last thing I remember is watching the rocks come out my face. And I remember being able to see my eyelashes open up. And at that point, I had still not really understood what had happened. Did I faint? I literally had no idea. And it wasn't until the EMS showed up and they started rallying off the statistics saying he fell at this time, and then they said they shocked me at this time. And that was when it all kind of sunk in. It felt like my body was about 100 pounds heavier. I could feel myself sinking into the ground, and at that point I felt a bunch of hands on me, picking me up, putting me on a stretcher, and the next thing I know I'm in an ambulance and on my way to the hospital. So I was lying in my hospital bed, and doctors kept coming in to see me. They'd ask me how I'm doing. I'd say, hey, I'm fine. Then they'd introduce themselves and say they just wanted to see the guy who was carrying his own AED. And that company at the time was one of the only companies that carried AEDs on every single one of their trips. Every single doctor that I talked to basically said, the only reason you are here is because of the timely fashion that they got that AED on you. So I started to research and learn more about them, and I wanted to become more involved with these life-saving devices. I came across a company called AED Team, and what they were promoting was outdoor access to AEDs. A little while after my incident, it came to my attention that in the park, not more than 100 yards from where I was, there was an AED, and it was inaccessible to those without a key. No one knew it was even there. There wasn't even a sign outside, but this speaks to exactly the challenge they were trying to solve at AED Team. So I made an initial phone call, and the owner of the company actually answered. We had an incredible conversation about my story, about his story, and what he was doing to improve access to AEDs. It was right then and there, I literally asked him how I could be a part of AED Team. Now I share my story with others, and I'm a consultant with the AED team, where we are working to help people select, deploy, and maintain these devices wherever they have a need for them. Our biggest focus is getting AEDs accessible and ready to respond 24/7, indoors or out. AED team has aligned secure, all-weather AED enclosures. While these enclosures secure the device against weather, theft, and tampering, the general public can also access it after activating the 911 system. So what this does is ensure the AED is always ready for literally anybody to become the first responder. Anywhere that there is a mass amount of people gathering or a constant flow of people is a place that one of these cabinets can actually be and should be placed. Having immediate access to an AED contributed to saving my life. And if we can make these accessible to more people at all times, more lives will be saved.